Yo, I wonder where Jackson is.
I know. It must be at a lady's place. I'm
I know
assuming.
he must be doing something.
I mean, not here at 8:06 in the morning. That's late for Jackson.
It
That's
is
late.
very late. I try to do this by 8:05. If I'm late ever, I do it at 8:05. Dude, I want to go to the doctor just get my throat fixed.
How are you feeling?
I feel fine, but like, there's like
Yeah.
inflammation in my tonsils, and it's been like that for like 2 weeks. Like my tonsils have been swollen. And this happens like once a year, and I know it's literally just because my tonsils, like I'm like sick and like they won't like go down. So like I need like a Z pack or like a amoxicillin.
Yeah. Z-Pack knocks it right
Right
out.
out, yeah.
That's 5 days.
Oh
You're
yeah.
gone.
You go in on Monday, you take your first Z pack that night. By Friday, you feel like $1,000,000. Dude,
Yeah, I don't want to take amoxicillin. That's like a 20-day process. I don't want that.
fuck. Doctors are being so easy. To be a doctor would be so easy. Everybody would get Z-Packs if I was the doctor. Everything was solved with Z-Packs. If the Z-Pack doesn't work, we'd pivot.
Literally.
To amoxicillin, and then we'll work
our way. Z-Pack's like
boom. Z-Pack is the best. But either way, we just started. And we got ourselves last night's game. Did you think Joel Embiid was detrimental to his team?
I think so. I think we saw I think we saw a lot. I think we saw that the Sixers might operate better with Paul Reed at the center position and maybe Harden at the point. This is Harden's team.
Dude, Jackson just said text link.
That's what I was reading.
Yeah, I'm over here like, bro, he says good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so confused. You got the link?
Yeah. I was like reading Daily Raiders and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I know, but I do agree. I think he ruined the team.
He had 9 shot attempts. I don't know. I honestly think he shouldn't have been out there. He also said after the game, with what I have, I'm supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah, then sit out 4 to 6, and then you're done for the play. I mean, he's not Jimmy Butler. So.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler literally took a game off because it said it'd be too easy. He said you have to gentleman sweep them.
That's good. How about them Hurricanes?
Oh yeah, the Panthers. Don't they play in Fort Lauderdale? Oh yeah, I forget. Hurricanes and Panthers aren't the same team. One's Carolina, one's Florida.
My texts are disappearing.
Do you not have phone service of memory?
Well, I remember texting you guys good morning, right?
Yeah.
And before that, we sent the link.
Yeah, I didn't get my good morning text is gone. I'm surprised I got this link just now.
Thomas wants to know if you, Nick, and Jackson are brothers.
Nick and I are twins. We have July birthdays.
They're actually what's it called when you guys aren't non-identical?
If we were brothers, it would make a lot of our history. If we were brothers, it would cause a lot of issues.
There'd be a lot of incest.
Jeez.
Jackson, what we were just talking about, Joel Embiid came out and said with what he has, he's supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Do you think Joel Embiid playing last night was detrimental to the team and they're better off without him if he's going to continue to look like he did last night?
Well, that's a lot of responsibility for a bad Philadelphia 76ers team. The only team more inconsistent right now in the NBA playoffs than the Boston Celtics are the Philadelphia 76ers. So if you're trying to tell me, should the Sixers not have played their MVP or the NBA's MVP and their team MVP, I'm going to say, well, no, because he's their only chance at winning this series.
I just want to see what will game 2 look like. I mean, if we get 2 games in a row that he looks like this, I think the conversation should be a legit one then, if that makes sense. But I'll give him this game because he, it probably really hurt, and I wouldn't have been able to do it. You know what I mean? So I think for the people who were saying, because I was listening to The Athletic after the game, I think let's give it another game. And if this is a recurring theme, then let's maybe comment on it, or say that maybe he should sit. Do you agree with that, guys?
Well, it seems like he's already going to have to get surgery.
Yeah, he said what he has is he's supposed to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Philadelphia is playing for a little bit more right now than bragging rights. They're playing to keep their franchise afloat. Because if they were to be a second-round exit, regardless of Joel Embiid's injury, Harden's going to go. Or Embiid's going to want to go. Or at least the rumblings are going to begin. So, maybe it's something that Philadelphia needs. So maybe they end up sitting him or he plays and they lose in 5, which they are going to do. And then the Sixers have to look at themselves and be like, all right, do we need to go ahead and get a new coach? Is there a better coach out there? We're going to have to probably trade away do we have to trade away Tyrese Maxey? Change would be coming regardless, but I think another second-round exit here would pretty much end Philadelphia as far as their
It would.
structure.
Do you think so? Whose decision? I mean, obviously Joel's wanting to play, but do you think Doc Rivers is over here like, motherfucker, if you want me back here next year, you get your ass on the court?
Well, I think Embiid's a competitor. I think he.
I know. I just said that. I mean, it was more of a joke saying that, like, Doc Rivers, even Embiid probably wants to play, but Doc Rivers is making sure he plays to save his job.
It's tough because Philly is one of the best teams to finish off the season from the start of the 2023 calendar year. Philly's been really good, so it really sucks. But
you think Doc would retire? No one would give him a job. After he fucked up with the Clippers and the Sixers, back-to-back job, like mishandling of like contending teams.
Well, it's not his fault. Joel's hurt.
Okay, the Clippers was his fault.
I don't think he'd get fired this year.
I think he'd get fired. Dude, Brett Brown
is hurt.
Yeah, but the thing is Brett Brown has done the same thing. You haven't done more than what Brett Brown did. So
what are they going to do though?
Nick Nurse?
Nick Nurse.
What if another team gets him?
Nick Nurse seems to be pulling the Quinn Snyder right now. So I just found out, if you want to do a little quick pivot in the conversation, Mark Stein of the Stein Line, former New York Times and I believe ESPN and a few other places. He's with Substack now. I think like Substack gave him a bag, and he like is like one of like the main subs. Like, you look at Substack, you create your own Substack, but like you pay to read it. He like, I think he has a deal with Substack that they paid him to like have his stubs, if that makes sense. And he wrote that about the MA Udoka, because everyone was sitting here, and he basically says, yes, the Toronto Raptors basically were under the assumption that they were like going to like get themselves MA Udoka, but before hiring MA Udoka, they did want to properly do a broad search and vet other candidates, but they wanted to just do their due diligence before offering MA Udoka a contract. And before he could get in for an interview, the Rockets, who were very much interested in Nick Nurse, offered MA Udoka a 4-year, $28.5 million contract which is like a $6.5 million average. And he accepted it, I think, in less than like a day, the offer. He quickly accepted the offer. And to the surprise of the Rockets and to the surprise of the Raptors. Now, the Raptors seem like, with that being said, the Raptors seem to be either going for an in-house candidate or a candidate that is a former Raptors assistant or has some sort of Raptor connection. So, like a Jerry Stackhouse, Adrian Griffin, sort of those guys. And with that being said, Detroit has no interest in Nick Nurse. Nick Nurse looks like he's just sitting there. So if they do fire Doc Rivers, I mean, Nick Nurse is just sitting there.
It's pretty ballsy.
Another name, Fred Hoiberg.
There's Terry Stotts out there too. People forget Frank Vogel,
True.
I
I just
Mike D'Antoni.
At this point, whatever Embiid wants. If Embiid wants Doc Rivers gone, then fire Doc Rivers. If Joel Embiid and Doc Rivers have a good relationship, then keep them. For me, it's more Philly. You can't shoot 6 of 30 from downtown, 39.2 from the field. James Harden can't go 2 of 14 from the field and 0 of 6 from downtown. Jason Tatum had 7 points. He was in immediate foul trouble. The game was close after one quarter. I mean, Philly was right there. So it's just, I just think Boston is so much better than them. But yeah,
I think it's the 3-point shooting, dude. I think it was what Celtics had in the first quarter, over 20 3-point attempts, and what they end up having like close over 50, over 60, almost 60 3-point attempts. Okay, Philadelphia. I need to pull up this stat because I know I remember glancing at the team stats for this game, and I was mind blown by the disparity in 3-point shots. Yeah, 51 3-point attempts for the Boston Celtics, 30 for the Sixers. Sixers only made 6 of them. The Celtics made 20. That is 18 points to 60 points off 3-pointers.
Well, it's like the first game, right? You know, it's just, what did Boston go? 6 of 16. Or they had 16 turnovers. They shot 58.7 from the field. But you had guys like Maxey with 4 steals, 26. Melton, 5 of 6 from downtown. James Harden, 7 of 14 from downtown. Philly can knock down threes.
No, I can't. It's just about the volume. I mean, PJ Tucker needs to be shooting 4. I know he's not a scorer.
Tuck's done. He's done, man.
Tuck needs to be shooting 4, even if he misses them, 4 corner threes a night. Tobias Harris needs to be shooting
a lot.
5+ threes. James Harden 5+ threes. Tyrese 5+ threes. Like, I need this team, and the thing is they need to get George Niang out there, okay, to start shooting. That's another thing is like I think Doc Rivers is trying to find someone off the bench because they don't really have any, like, their guys off the bench are more like not specialists, but like complimentary guys, where you keep a starter in. They don't have a guy off the bench, a quote unquote Jordan Clarkson, a quote unquote 6-man who comes in and is a microwave who can create his own offense, like, and get you buckets. Like Malcolm Brogdon is that for the Celtics.
Yeah. I mean, usually Maxey's out there with that squad.
Yeah. But like,
Anthony Melton.
But like Maxey's technically a starter, but he does stay out with the backups. But I mean, like a pure actual guy who comes off the bench who like who's not even like a 6-man, just a volume shooter. They don't have a guy who's willing to go out there and literally pull like a Malik Beasley and shoot 15 threes one night,
Yeah, I mean, look at the Lakers though. Malik Beasley just got a DMP, so how
that's just the first name that comes to mind. But like that thought process of there's certain guys in the league, even if their shot ain't falling, they're gonna put up their 10 3-point shots in the 15 minutes they play because that's their role. They have that confidence, and some nights they'll hit 4 threes, other nights they hit 2, other nights they hit 8 or some shit, and. It's just they don't have a guy that, like, they have 3-point shooters, but they don't have guys that are going to be like and put those 3-point shots every freaking opening they have.
Yeah, I mean, sorry.
Go ahead.
Rocket News says it best, 39% from 3 versus 20%. It's going to win ball games, especially when you're shooting more.
Yeah, I also think this is a hard series to really predict or debate over because game 1 and game 2 were so drastically different.
Yeah, from Philly's standpoint, you did the job. You did what you needed to do. You won a road game.
Yeah.
So it sucks because they just got blown out. And I mean, we see it every time these two teams play each other. Like Embiid gets bossed around by Boston. Boston they just dominate. They always dominate Philadelphia. And they came out with this nice aggressiveness, this nice dominant start to the game last night, even if it took a couple of quarters or the second quarter to really kind of break away from it. But, they came out really hungry. I'm sure Luke was very pleased watching this game last night. And, if Boston could just do that every single night, then they would be the NBA final. They would get to the NBA finals. Jaylen Brown, Twitter's blowing their load right now over Jaylen Brown being better than Jason Tatum. So, I mean, who has better stars? The answer is Boston, even if the MVP's on Philly. It's just I don't see any world Philadelphia can win this series with or without a fully healthy Embiid.
I will like to say that I am the original. I am the harbinger. I am the original procurer of the thought that Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. I said it on the show because one day we had a debate where I said, I think Luke was on here, or maybe Nick, that I said, if you had to rebuild a team, it was either I said an expansion draft or rebuild the team. Who do you choose, Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum, to rebuild your team around? And I think you guys gave me flack that because I chose Jaylen Brown because he would be better for the culture, even if his ceiling isn't as high. I feel like I could build the team. I was champion that I'd rather build around Jaylen Brown than Tatum.
Yeah, I'm not doing that, but he is a good player. I'm definitely not doing that. I mean, he's a great player. He really is. But Jason Tatum is.
He'll be even better in Houston.
You know, exactly. Jaylen Brown can do this in Houston.
You mean Atlanta?
We can do this all summer.
We could do this also.
I think we will do this.
We got 1 year. We got 1 year. We got to do this for another year. His contract don't expire until 2024. So
it's just tough because like Jason Tatum is a guy who just dropped 39 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists in game 1, but they lost. So I mean, it's not the craziest thing. I like Tatum on the year, 30 points, 9 rebounds. I mean, he was MVP for the first 25% of games. But to your credit, we were talking about can these two coexist a year and a half ago when Boston was 19-23 or 19-22, right before at the All-Star break, around the All-Star break at the halfway point of the season. So Philly needs this, but Boston needs it as well.
Yeah, Missoula showed the first job.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown though, I love that guy, dog. Let's move over though tonight's game. We got ourselves the Los Angeles Lakers going up against the Golden State Warriors. Ooh, in a marquee matchup that some might say that the Lakers almost choked away. Game 1.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but they didn't.
They didn't. I mean, Jared Vanderbilt came back on the floor and fucking saved the day. But with that being said, tonight's game 2 it's not Oracle Arena, it's now the Chase Center.
Yep.
I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna take the Warriors tonight just because they're at home. They're one of the best home records in the league. The Lakers did their job. They took a road game. And going into this, I think the Lakers can still take it. I mean, I honestly think if the Lakers win this game, my view on the series changes a lot more. And if the Lakers win this one tonight, this is my thought, and then I'll let you guys talk. If Rocket says this, AD has to be aggressive like game 1. And if the Lakers win this game, my thoughts on this series completely change. I know that's bad to say because the Kings did go up 2-0 and then they ended up losing the series. But what are your thoughts on this game? I do think the Warriors are going to win it, but again, if the Lakers somehow win it, it does change the outlook on this series. What are your thoughts? Go, Nick.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. It's a different sense. If the Lakers do go 2-0, they're going home, right? They're going to the Staples Center, different environment, a little bit more rest. They won the game. Winning game 1 was super important. They had the rest. They went out and beat them at home. They got the same thing with Philly, right? If they take one game away from them at home, it's a win. I expect the Warriors to come out and win tonight because they are the Warriors. Steph Curry, Jordan Poole will probably go off. But the Lakers, if AD plays like AD, anything's possible.
So my logically, I think the Lakers win because I think they're significantly better. They just shot 6 of 29 from downtown and won, and they blew a 13 straight points by Golden State, and they still won. And Austin Reeves only had 10, and LeBron hasn't thrown a grape in the entire ocean all playoffs. So I'm looking at it on paper, and I'm like, well, I think the Lakers are going to win. The Dubs are last in free throw attempts, or Lakers are number one. The Lakers are just going to get downhill. AD's going to get his cookies, and Lakers should win. But yeah, I don't know. My gut's telling me the Warriors. There's a reason Steve Kerr and this they're the dynasty. They're the reason they're the Dubs. So I guess I'm going to take the Warriors.
The Warriors should.
All this paper is. I know. But I think if I was just thinking about this yesterday, the East is so bad this year. It's so inconsistent this year. I know the Lakers have been really inconsistent. So is Golden State. Who's one team that hasn't been inconsistent all season? The answer is probably Denver. So I was thinking in the car yesterday, I think it might be a really boring NBA Finals. And I think this round and the next round for the Western Conference might be better than whatever we get in the NBA Finals. If you remember last year, people were a little worried going into the NBA Finals about what that was going to look like.
So I have said, Denver, also fuck everyone in this room. Fuck everyone who has said that like Denver wasn't going to do shit. Denver, we already know Denver's about to be in the Western Conference Finals, and your boy has been championing that thought all fucking season long that Denver would be in the Western Conference Finals. All right. And I'll be honest, I'm not even a Lakers fan like that, but if you want good basketball, especially in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers against the Nuggets is a better series than the Warriors versus the Nuggets. It's a better matchup.
For who? A fan?
For fans. It would be a more entertaining, a more physical matchup. You'd have AD versus Jokic, LeBron versus Michael Porter Jr. / Contavious Caldwell-Pope, and then like Jamal Murray against the Austin Reeves. It would be a much more marquee matchup because does anyone want to see Jokic just like literally looking like a huge man next to Draymond Green? Like as much as I love Draymond Green, I think it would be not as fun to see. It would be way more fun to see Anthony Davis versus Jokic because they'll match up in size and play style than Draymond, Kevon Looney versus Jokic.
Matchup in play style? Did Nikola Jokic all of a sudden figure out how to defend?
No, I'm talking about the sense that like Anthony Davis plays inside, so does Jokic. So we're going to see some smash mouth basketball where we're going to see.
Looney just had 23 rebounds.
Yeah, but Looney isn't going to put the ball down on the floor on the floor and start putting his shoulder into Nikola Jokic's fucking chest while Davis.
It's not a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Not a lot. He'll do it once or twice. Davis, we're going to see that like 10 times a game. He puts the hand up at the low post, and you're going to see him go to work with Jokic on the post. Okay, I just think that would be a lot more fun. It would also be reliving the 2019. Was it 2019 or 2020? Bubble, and it'd be like, I think that's better. That's just narrative, the rematch of, an actual arena this time. Anthony Davis jump shot broken this year because I forgot Anthony Davis touched God that postseason and was like shooting 40% from three. It felt like. You guys remember that Anthony Davis hit a game-winning three to send the Lakers into the fucking the NBA Finals, and now you just can't even hit a three to save his life.
Times change. It was easier to shoot in the bubble.
I mean, at least he's not as bad as LeBron James. I don't know what happened. I don't know if LeBron James needs like contacts now, but LeBron James and like half of them aren't bad shot attempts. And the same thing even with his free throw. He just can't hit a shot. He's still good. He's still good.
5-2. He's number one in 2-point efficiency.
Yeah, no, isn't he?
It was after game one.
He's like shooting like 50-something like on 2-pointers. I'm just saying the jump shot's just broken.
Statistically, more of them will go in. The more he misses, the more statistically he's got to make.
You're completely right.
Maybe he's just saving them all for the finals. Maybe he knows he doesn't have a ton in him.
I think regardless of who Denver plays, it's gonna be barbecue chicken. I really do. But if
But
Denver
wins,
if Denver
or
wins, I'll give them some flowers. I won't give them all the flowers until they win the NBA Finals. But I mean,
you're the problem with the media, though. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, because you're everyone's here not having faith in the Denver Nuggets.
Because how many franchise NBA Final wins do they have?
Why does that matter? Right now, they're rolling through every team that they've faced in the playoffs so far. It's this season.
Do you want cookies for beating the Minnesota Timberwolves, or
what? I feel like you're going to be the type of guy the Nuggets are going to win the championship, and you're going to still be like, I don't believe them. Still think they're not
the championship. Then they're the best team in the NBA. They're not, because either Lakers or Golden State. My big concern would be a Nuggets sweep the Suns and Lakers Warriors Game 7. That's when I would start getting a little sweaty, because I'd be thinking, these are that's
a whole other can of worms we could unpack right
I'm not hating. This is I don't get why if you're the undisputed 2-time, should be 3-time MVP, I need to start seeing some wins. And it's the same thing applies. It's not Jokic. The same thing applies to Devin Booker. The same thing applies to Jason Tatum. These are rising superstars or already established stars in the league. Like, when push comes to shove, you need to win. You need to start winning. I'm not Nike making a commercial about losing in the first round to the 8th seed and how it's just steps to success. Like, no, this is sports. You can fail if you don't win. The purpose of every season in every sport is to win. It's to win it all.
I don't know.
So if I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets, I'm not even trying to go at Jokic. I'm thinking, okay, well, 5 years ago, they were the number one or 54 wins, second team in the division conference. 4 years ago, third. 3 years ago, third. Last year, they were banged up. This year, they're the first. This year, they won 53 games, and they're the best team in the loaded Western Conference. So, like, you need to win. Okay? That's it. And I basically what I'm saying here is I just think a team like Golden State and a team like the Lakers, I just, especially with AD, I think he would just really go at Jokic. But the Denver Nuggets are a great basketball team, and they have some nice depth, and Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. can catch fire at any point, and I'm not saying it can't be done. I just don't. Okay, like, you beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, all right, now you are beating 2 games against Phoenix, which is impressive, even though people are discrediting the Suns right now. So I'm just saying, you gotta start winning.
No, I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying here is the fact that, okay, when we look at a situation like this, I think it's I'm curious to see. I think you brought up a great point about the Nuggets finishing off this series quickly, and if they're able to do that, will that give them, the advantage? And I think that what is an interesting point to talk about. I don't know. I think the Nuggets are also on a mission to quiet everyone, to be like, yo, come on, like
Mike Malone's done a great job at setting the tone for his team.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think I understand why, because they haven't done anything. But it's also it kind of feels like this season is how we used to treat the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay.
And
and they won, and you got to give them the credit for winning. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, you like that one?
Yeah.
But so with that being said, is with the Milwaukee Bucks, we used to it's all about, what's the right word? A recency bias. Okay. What have you done lately? That's the type of league we live in. What have you done lately? And I understand that, the Nuggets, they haven't been able to do it. And we said the same thing with Giannis. So I think the whole narrative around this team will change once they're able to go over the hump. I mean, it's the same thing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Yeah. All right. The same thing's going on right here. Joel Embiid's like, oh, why are we getting all this much hate that we have to do this? Because you haven't made it out the second round, man. Giannis used to get the same shit until he went crazy in 2021 and freaking posted so many 50 bombs in the playoffs that they won a title. So I think, this is what have you done for me lately, League? And I know I can, defend and say everything about why you should believe in the Nuggets, but none of that has validity until they win.
Yeah. I don't believe they've actually even ever made the NBA Finals, but yeah, it takes 1 year, it takes one team to change that, and they, like if you just watch it, if you watch the Denver Nuggets right now, you'd think this is the best team in the NBA playoffs at this point, or they're at
Conference
least the most
finals
consistent team. And yeah, I know history doesn't repeat itself all the time; it typically rhymes. So if I have more faith in Steph Curry or LeBron James versus Nikola Jokic. And that's just what comes as being the best player on your team is you're responsible for that. You're the leader of the team and you're the star, you're the superstar, just like Jason Tatum and Devin Booker before they got Kevin Durant. It's just that's what it takes. And I know Nikola Jokic is a great basketball player, and it's something we've never seen before. I think Cyro was just propping him up a couple of days ago on it. But from what I've seen of Nikola Jokic in the playoffs, when you play, and he's proving it wrong right now because of Chris Paul. Chris Paul torches a team like Denver in the past because they'll just run pick and rolls and they'll put Jokic in very difficult situations defensively on these pick and rolls. But Phoenix is a great mid-range team. They're a great pick and roll team, and Denver's up 2-0 right now, and it's not even that. No Suns fan feels good right now. So, yeah, Jokic. I'm not trying to put all the blame on Jokic here because it's also team construction and everybody's accountable and your coach is accountable. And I would love to see Nikola Jokic get the job done. It's just if I'm a betting man, I'm still going with the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors. But we'll see. It's all just hearsay, and we're already barely into season or round 2 of the playoffs.
All right, guys, I just wanted to hear your thoughts right here on this. And basically, we're hearing that the NBA wants two things. They want their new media deal to be so ESPN and TNT will have first dibs to renegotiate for 45 days before the NBA can go out and test the market. And they've basically alluded that they really they're looking at the MLS and Apple TV right now. What the MLS did with Apple TV and really lean into the streaming service and having basically consolidated rights to one streaming giant. So like basically if you have Amazon Prime or Apple TV, you'd be able in 2 years to watch every NBA game possible on those services. That's something that they want included as part of their deal because they're trying to start to move away from cable TV and it basically being mostly a broadcast TV deal and a streaming deal. And broadcast TV is selling their rights to ABC, to Disney because they own ABC and ESPN, which means that they're able to be on cable, but a broadcast TV also they have like their own channel. Like you can download the ABC app and you don't need cable and so they kind of want more of that. They're basically just trying to like cord cut and just basically get out of cable because they know that just isn't where the money is. And so I think right now in 2 years, NBA League Pass could be on Apple TV or like Amazon Prime and with zero blackouts because also regional sport networks like Bally Sports and like Spectrum Network and all that, those places are going out of business. I don't know if you guys...
Yeah, Bally filed for bankruptcy, I think, in August of last year or something like that.
Oh, and wow. I think they filed, now they're filing for liquidation right now. Jesus. So they're liquidating now. Yeah. But the same company that owns Bally Sports, Diamond Sports Network, is suing the Phoenix Suns now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for their plan to offer free over the air. Like that's insane. If you live in Phoenix, you just have to buy one of those antennas and you can watch every Suns game for free.
I'm confused how that works because it's like the NFL ticket with YouTube TV, right? They just went on over to YouTube TV. I'm getting texts from older cats saying if you just get YouTube TV, now you have NFL ticket, but that's not true, right?
No, that's not true.
You have to still pay it for NFL ticket. So that's what I think of when I think of NBA, and you just mentioned League Pass, and it's like, okay, yeah, they're about to go to streaming, cable's dying, but if you have YouTube TV or whatever, blah blah blah, like it's still not going to be free, right? Like you still
No,
need
but
League
it's
Pass.
better. It's better if it goes to Amazon because most people already pay for Amazon Prime for the shipping.
Yeah, I just got
And you-
freaking docked 150 the other day. I was like, what is this?
Yeah,
I have
and
an Amazon Prime account.
And then Amazon Prime, automatically you get the Amazon Prime Video in there. So my assumption is it would be joined to Prime Video, and then you would have to pay whatever, either the base package, which is if you just want to watch your team, which I think is like 80 or $100, or if you want the one we do, which is like $200 to watch everything.
Yeah, I
And
just find it so stupid.
yeah, it's
But
more
cable's
so.
dying.
Yeah, the cable's dying, and it's more so to be able to watch. You know how on League Pass you can't watch every game. There's blackouts on League Pass.
Yeah, I can't watch a Heat game ever.
Yeah, or Nuggets game, a home Nuggets game. You can't have for fucking watch a Nuggets game.
Why?
All right. Stan Kroenke, he has Altitude Sports Network, and their games only show on Altitude Sports.
Oh, I've never had a problem with that.
I have no idea how.
I use StreamEast a lot just because.
Yeah, I have to
Because you're
watch
in
Nuggets.
Kansas.
I have to
don't like
watch
Kansas
Nuggets game.
people.
I have to watch Nuggets games on StreamEast. There's certain games I have to watch on StreamEast because of blackouts.
I don't know, man. It's just adding so many steps. I get it, cable's dying, and so in this world, if I have YouTube TV, let's say I don't have League Pass, and I'm just an older cat with YouTube TV because it's cable essentially, there's still going to be games on ESPN and ABC, and
If they renegotiate, I mean, we don't. ESPN's
all-
going.
that's all.
I mean, personally, I think ESPN won't have rights to the NBA. I mean, I could be wrong,
That is
but
unbelievably stupid on the NBA's part. Then
what the NBA sells it to the highest bidder. I don't think ESPN has the money to renew the rights.
okay, so then it'll go to like ABC.
ABC's owned by it owns ESPN. That's Disney.
I can't even imagine a world where if there's a Lakers Warriors playoff game on ABC.
Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, HBO Max is also an option.
But is what you're telling me if let's say this is 5 years from now and they don't have the rights to these anymore, and we have Game 3.
ESPN. The reason why I'm telling you ESPN's it might not get the rights and probably won't get the rights. ESPN's about to lay off like hundreds of people. ESPN
should, probably.
And ESPN's going bankrupt. ESPN has every time a new TV deal for a sport comes out, they always bow out and they're saying we're prioritizing other things. They just don't have money to I think at this point they're starting to realize maybe they're going to just broadcast college sports or other niche sports and then just react or highlight sports. It's just their business model is dying, and I don't think they know what to do. And Disney is just pulling funding from ESPN.
It's just crazy. I can't imagine having a playoff game not on
NBC's
cable.
Trying to throw their hat in the ring too.
ESPN's got college football and
Yeah.
ABC because they just got the SEC. I mean, yeah.
This is how you used to watch games.
Yeah, but for the ESPN, all they care about is biggest bang for their buck. They know if they have football, that's worth more money than basketball. So it's
for sure.
And that's what they care. It's all about dollar signs. So, and there's other players who want their programming. TNT's owned by Warner Bros. Discovery. So if TNT renews it, TNT could, negotiate and say fuck Amazon and Apple and be like, not only can we offer you a broadcast deal where your games will air on TNT, but your games will also be streamed on Max.
TNT is.
Well,
I don't
like
think they
that.
want to lose the ESPN.
I don't
think they want to lose the NBA.
I don't think so either. So I could see them being like, hey, Warner Bros. Discovery owns TNT. So if we do a deal, not only can we offer you the broadcast deal that you're still on TNT, but we're a streaming service too. Your games are now on HBO Max or Max, I guess it's rebranding. So you got yourself there. And with one company, you're able to have there and you probably double the deal. But this is all hearsay. We don't know what's going to happen. So let's move on to some other reports that we're hearing around the NBA. 1 second.
Oh, I'm gonna go.
What?
Just to get out in the open. I'm gonna go Dubs. I don't feel good about it, but I'm going Dubs. tonight.
Did you say that?
I want my official prediction out in the open.
Dubs.
Whoa!
I guaranteed the Sixer win last night, so I want to be or the Sixer loss. I want to be accountable.
Dylan Brooks' agent sounds off on Shams Charania's report from yesterday. Doesn't sound like DB's camp was thrilled with that report. I would imagine the Grizzlies weren't either. So this is a tricky situation where it sounds like neither side was the primary source of info. And I had someone comment on my post, like my video I made that has like a bunch of like views. Someone saying like basically like I gotta find the I'll read you guys the comment. Basically saying like I'm using like an uncredible source that like everyone knows the Athletic isn't like good. I'm like, I kind of laugh here. Let me read it. It's kind of funny. Wait, funnier. It is right. Wait. You have your viewers agree to guidelines and to be respectful, but your title disrespects viewers. The Grizzlies are not the source of this story. How about you respect our intelligence and use actual sources? Anonymous sources. The Athletic is not a reputable source. Quotes and names, please, or the Grizzlies didn't say it. And I literally go, I was like, the quote is literally in my description from the article, and the link to the articles in my description with Shams Charania there. I was like, I don't know what to tell you, bud. I was like, but
journalism's so dead. It's turned into a shit show. You got guys like Jake Fisher able to, or Brian Windhorst, make up rumors about Steven Salas.
Sports journalism has changed. So social media,
entire journalism has changed.
No, I mean there's
entire journalism has changed, and maybe it hasn't fallen off. And I'm not trying to be like doomsday at all. I'm just saying like the quality of work for any type of journalism is just it's been steadily declining.
No, it's just, journalism. People don't pay attention to regular journalism. Okay, regular journalism has a due process and is a lot longer.
Yeah.
But the problem with sports journalism is right now they want to be first. Everybody in sports journalism to make it, you have to be first. You have to be the one who breaks the news and shit like that. And that's the sad part about sports journalism is because these fucking insiders, because of all these I got to be first. They rather go ahead, use their anonymous sources and, not get the information vetted. For me, when I get a source or anything like that, even if that guy told me something and I have that on camera, on record, I can't air it unless I know the information he says is 100% true and won't damage the reputation of somebody, won't damage, won't make us liable. And there's so many ethical processes you have to go through as a journalist before you do something. Like the other day, I went and covered somebody who was a case where there was a road rage incident where a man, a 40-year-old man beat the shit out of a 70-year-old. 2 weeks later, the 70-year-old dies. Police rule it as a murder, but I get in contact with family, police, and DA stops talking to them, and I contact DA, police. They say they haven't communicated. I start pressing. Eventually, after I interview the family, the DA gets back to me and tells me, hey, because of lack of evidence, we cannot press charges. Even though this guy murdered this person and the police ruled it as a murder, they can't charge this guy. So I call the family and I have to play first stupid and be like, hey, did the police or DA get back to you? They say no. And we're about to air that, on the news in 20 minutes that this person who we're not saying the names, but the person who recently died in a road rage, the suspect in question isn't being charged. I had to call the family and basically tell them, hey, we're about even though they didn't know that, I was telling them, hey, we got in contact with the DA after our interview. They told us that they're not pressing charges because of lack of evidence. So I had to literally personally, announce to the family that they're not going to get any justice for the murder of their uncle. And before we even put anything on the internet or the on TV. And man, it just that's not the type of due process you have in sports journalism. Sports journalism is all on a wing and a prayer.
I can be Jake Fisher and just say I can hear it from a source. So Ime Udoka comes on over to the Houston Rockets. You're gonna ask him what's the future with January. He's going to ask what's the future with January. Like there has to be this agreement with right? Your owners and your GM and your head coach, everyone wants to be. You all want to be on the same track. So if I'm a team and I was like, I call up the Houston Rockets. And I'm like, are you interested in James Green? And they're like, not really. I'm Jake Fisher. Well, now I can go write an article and be like, they listened to the idea, so I'm going to change the title of this. I'm going to change the wording of this, saying like, they've had discussions about it. When in reality, they were asked about it, and it was like, no. But technically, that's having a discussion.
No, I agree, and it'll be interesting to see how this happens. And actually, what are your thoughts right here?
Yeah, so I saw that. I went on the NBA show today. I was going to throw up a tweet, and I saw fake shams that was like Bucks fired Mike Budenholzer. I'm like, whoa, what? It was Shams Charania fake. Then I saw this, and I saw the tweet, and it's like, yeah, this doesn't really help anybody in the process. This doesn't help you. This definitely doesn't help Dillon Brooks.
Can we be honest? The only reason this is happening is because it's a PR nightmare for the Grizzlies and Dillon Brooks.
Yeah.
It's a PR nightmare because the Grizzlies look like assholes. That they literally like. I saw a quote where basically the way it looked like the Grizzlies just told them, "Yeah, we're not interested. Not interested. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out." Was basically what the Grizzlies, like someone compared this situation is like in layman terms what the Grizzlies just did. They literally just told Dillon Brooks, by the way, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out, is basically what they told them. And yeah, it's
they offered him a contract. Right?
It's so rare. Like people are mind blown that's why I think it's a nightmare, because this is incredibly disrespectful from a Grizzlies standpoint, that you tell a guy who isn't a superstar or like a star, like just a role player, starting level role player, yeah, we're good, and publicly announce it basically before like not even like a week away from free agency, like 6 weeks, 7 weeks away from free agency. That's just rude. And then Dillon Brooks, it looks bad for him because it makes him look kind of like, oh, there might be bigger issues here, Well,
it's like the Grizzlies offered him contracts in last offseason or this season or whatever, but then you also have Dillon Brooks saying, I don't want to be a part of the Grizzlies because my offense is just 3-and-D, and I have more in my bag than 3-and-D.
Nick, what are your thoughts?
If you're a team like Sacramento, it would be like, well, this seems like it's bringing me more harm than good.
It's been like the worst 3 weeks of Dillon Brooks's life. I feel like he picked a fight with LeBron, plays horribly in the playoff, or not great in the playoff series, doesn't back it up, and then this report comes out. It doesn't. Like when I originally heard that report, I'm like, that's pretty harsh. Like that, for them to just say like, nope, we don't want him back, no matter what circumstance. Like the wording could have been a lot better. Like that's kind of a lot of it, and it happening a couple weeks before free agency is not good. Rip Dillon Brooks. He's
at the same time though, you don't want to leave somebody hanging. So the wording is weird, but like it's the same thing with all these reports. I don't know what to believe. I'm not really going to believe much. But if I'm a GM, I want my player to know, and I feel like this is how it goes in every sport. Like we're not going to bring you back. We're not even going to make you a contract. So start, you tell the agent and the other player this. So like start talking to other teams or whatever. Like
yeah,
perfect could be applied to the transfer portal, right? Like it's like we don't have a future with you. We're letting you know this. We're trying to mutually leave this just so you can start inquiring about other teams, so that you can get hooked up and that you're not left in the dust thinking, is Memphis going to sign me, or what's going to go on here?
It's the timing of it all too, because like this all happens and people are going to think it like this. The behavior that Dillon Brooks put out there led to this. Where it was probably accumulation of everything, right?
Yeah. And I think it's definitely interesting. I mean, this is a guy that in his first 4 seasons, he averaged like 14 points, shot like 43% from the field and like 36% from 3. Like this is a guy that like in the right system, like Miami, I think could thrive. But
solid role player. And he's 27. So I think, was it Shaq said he will be out of the league? He wouldn't be surprised if he's out of the league. That won't happen. He's 27 years old, and he's, as Nandit says, he's a great defensive player. He's a great
Yeah.
tone setter.
And there's
But,
not.
Yeah, the timing is like.
There's just someone who's going to rebuild his image. And I think he's more of a player in the line of Royce O'Neal, Jay Crowder, Jay Sean Tate, PJ Tucker. That's the type of player he is. More of a wing version of that, like a Royce O'Neal, Jay Sean Tate than a PJ Tucker, Jay Crowder. But so Sam Amico, who from Hoops Wire, but one of my commenters said, take everything Sam Amico says with a grain of salt. So we'll take this with a grain of salt. But supposedly Isaac Okoro, who actually had his best shooting year in terms of 3-point percentage, even though he had played his least amount of minutes. I think he also took the least amount of attempts, 36%. He is being dangled as trade bait as they want an upgrade at their wing position. Understandable. I like Okoro. I think he's a guy who still has potential. I think the timeline that the Cavaliers are on has changed, and they just can't wait around for Okoro, who was a guy that not 2019, it was the 2020 draft class. That was such a crapshoot of a draft class because it was you had number 1 Edwards, which was great pick, but we didn't know if that was going to be the right pick at the time. Then Evan Mobley was 2, and
Melo.
No, yeah, Wiseman. Then
Wiseman. I mixed draft class. Wiseman. I knew it was a big. Sorry, Wiseman, Melo, and then it was 4 was not Scotty. Scotty's the following.
No, that was the year after.
Was that Patrick Will?
Yeah, Patrick Williams.
Yeah,
Pat Will.
All right, so that draft class was basically a crapshoot, in terms of the process, because then you had Onyeka Okongwu, Isaac Okoro at 5, then Onyeka Okongwu, Kelly Hayes, Obi Toppin, Denny Abdia, Jalen Smith, Devin Vassell, Tyrese Halliburton, Kyra Lewis Jr., Aaron Nesmith, and Cole Anthony as the top 14 picks. And so I think, look, I'm sorry, dude, Thomas Perry. I'm sorry that your son threw up all over the couch, but that sucks, man. That sucks. That's tough. But with Isaac Okoro, what is his trade value? I don't know what you're going out there.
There's not much trade value there, but if you're Cleveland, it's okay. We just lost in the first round of the playoffs, actually, and we just traded for Donovan Mitchell, so we need to start figuring out. Isaac Okoro, probably a great future bench player, but offensively, he's not reliable. I can't rely on Isaac Okoro to knock down, 3 threes.
You're the Portland Trailblazers. I call. Hey, Isaac Okoro for Naz Little.
I think that's something that Cleveland would be interested in. I don't know if a guy like Nazir Little moves the needle, but I think because I know he doesn't, but I think it's on the right track.
Well, I would say if they did that move, it would be because Naz Little's on a multi-year deal already. They signed him last year to, I think, a 3 or 4 year deal, and it's only $6 or $7 million a year. And they'd only do that deal as if they were able to sign a free agent or bring somebody else. And I think he would be if they did that deal, it would be to trade for him to be like their backup, like a guy who actually plays a bunch. And I think let me look at Naz Little's stats for this past year. I only know he played 54 games, but 6.6 points, 44% from the field in 18 minutes a night, 36 from 3, 2.6 rebounds. And for his career, last year he played his most minutes, where it was 26 minutes a night, 9.8 points, 46% from the field, 33 from 3, 6 rebounds, 1.5 assists, a little under a block and a steal a game. It's not terrible. I just want to see his contract. I think he's under he signed a 4-year, $28 million deal. So literally he's only making $7 million a year. Not a bad deal. You get him for 3 more years under contract. You could even maybe see if the Portland Trailblazers just throw in a pick or something.
Yeah.
Again, I think it's a move you make if you were able to acquire, let's say they signed Dylan Brooks. Now they have Dylan Brooks and Naz Little. I'd like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I think they still have Dean Wade under contract.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything. No, there's no player they're going to get for Isaac Okoro that it's okay, this is the future. We're going to run with it. It would be probably exactly like something you said. They get, Harrison Barnes or Dylan Brooks or some player like that. And then, get a nice depth piece like Nazir Little, who's maybe a little bit more reliable.
Cleveland, they can do some stuff this offseason. They have to do little things. They're not going to make these big splash, probably. They're in a good position in the East. I like Cleveland moving forward.
I agree. I think, yeah, they don't have the cap space or the flexibility or the draft picks to make big moves, but it's those small moves right there that they're going to have to make to push the envelope.
Yeah.
Now, you guys know what time it is?
Patrick Williams.
Donovan Mitchell. Yeah.
Nick, you're here just for the vibes.
Yeah, and I'm getting back into NBA basketball. I love NBA basketball. Playoff season.
Also, happy birthday to Rory McIlroy.
Happy birthday,
Rory McIlroy, happy birthday, buddy. Who we got here, Jalen
Oh.
Green?
I think I know who this is, but give me a guess. I don't think it's.
Jaden Hardy?
Ooh.
Show me that
he-
silhouette again.
I think that's Jaden Hardy.
I'm thinking.
Is it Dylan Brooks?
Is that? I think that's Dylan Brooks, man. I think that's Dylan Brooks. That's Dylan Brooks.
They had to. They had to
They
see
had to.
people. We're watching the NBA. All right. Let's go over here. Well, let's see if there's anything else on your guys' mind. And
Tomorrow's a full moon.
that's nice.
I like that the Celtics second team roster, or like their bench players when they had them in at the end, were like all white guys. If you really look at it, I think that just keeps with the Celtics vibes. Like Caden Pritchard being out there, Sam Hauser,
Sam Hauser.
glue guys. When he was checking in, it just felt like they were bringing the bench guy.
Why is Joel Embiid just not liked? I just like I go to
Talks a
KU.
lot.
Yeah,
He cries a lot.
I go to KU and I should be like a huge Joel Embiid fan because he's like an alumni of Kansas. But like I kind of don't like Joel Embiid. And maybe it is because I think he comes off as a complainer, as like a whiner. All right. And like he's also like he always uses his like past to justify things. He's like, you guys say this or that. I've done this. He's like, I've played injured and stuff. I was like, but you haven't done anything.
He doesn't have a swagger.
Yeah, he doesn't have.
He's no.
And the thing
Giannis
is, it's
got it,
changed because like Embiid before he became like this super guy was like he was funny. That's all. Embiid when he first became really popular was because he was funny and he would go on Twitter and troll people with like memes.
Yeah.
And I used to love him.
He lost his dwindle, his childlike wonder.
Yeah, like now
He's fed up.
Yeah, now he just comes off like, all right, bro, you just kind of seem salty. Like he just comes off salty or like butthurt all the time.
It's like, what excuse you're gonna use this off season of why you guys?
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah, exactly. And then exactly. That's like, I don't know. Maybe it's different because like with like good players like KD, James, not KD, LeBron James, and like Stephen Curry, whenever they fuck up or like they have shortcomings, they don't do anything except blame themselves. Like they take full responsibility when everything's going wrong. They're like, I should be playing better. I need to do better. I need to do better to get my teammates open. I need to do better. You know what I mean? We need to go out here. Yeah, and then or like when LeBron or Steph Curry loses in the playoffs, they're like, I need to work harder so we can be better. Like they literally blame everything there. And then every time I felt like Embiid's lost, he's just been like, well, this could have happened. This like he literally gives reasons for like why, and it's just like, bro, just be accountable. Take accountability.
Literally.
But I just want to go over here and do you think the Warriors, regardless if they win or lose, I think this would be a good topic to just wrap up the show. Lack of playing time. It's still tough to lock in every single time. It's still tough to smile every single time, is what Jonathan Kuminga said about the lack of his playing time. Do you think this Warriors team, win or lose, going to look radically different next year? Did the two timelines fail?
Yeah.
It failed. It did not work. The moment they traded James Wiseman, the two timelines failed. And they gave up in half a season.
Yeah, it just gets to a point where you got to cut your losses. James Wiseman wouldn't help them in the playoffs right now, and we saw Moody last year, and we see him a little bit this year. But I don't think anybody's calling Moses Moody like a star potential still. I mean, he just, if he goes to a different team, but like, it's just tough because you're playing behind so many Hall of Famers that the Golden State Warriors need just sturdy, solid role players. And Kuminga is so young and he's so raw that you just kind of have to wait your turn on a team like this. And
it's tough because you want to get him playoff experience as well, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a guy. He does have a lot of raw potential, and he's like, it sucks because with a team maybe like the Kings or where they don't have those Hall of Famers on the court all the time, you can feel it's more likely that you can play Kuminga, but yeah, it's just the playing time's not there for the Warriors. Trade him to Detroit. I think the Warriors Detroit should be Warriors B team.
The next Warriors, or what could have been.
Yeah.
I don't even know though, because like it's just kind of embarrassing at the same time for the Warriors because you're also now, if you do trade them, they have no trade value because everyone's just like, ha.
The thing with Kuminga is he improved from last year, so I'm not panicking or ringing the bell quite yet.
But Moses Moody and Jonathan Kuminga are like at best starting role players.
Kuminga showed a lot of flashes this year, especially when guys get injured and they have to have him come in and step up. This is where I'm sure Draymond Green and Andrew Wiggins and they're up in his ear saying, I know it's hard, but we need you sometimes. You got to take the Pat Bev route. Like, when your name's called, we need you. You're important to this team. Sometimes you just gotta wait for your turn. Wait for it. I mean, how old is Kuminga even legally drink yet? Because he came into the league as
I think he is baby. So Draymond Green came on to Chris Haynes and Mark Stein's podcast, and Draymond Green said like the problem with this team is that in the past there was somebody who could go psycho for like Draymond's the guy who has to go psycho
Hyundai versus the other guys. Look what Hyundai has and what Honda, Nissan, and Subaru don't.
Free ad read.
Did you hear the ad going off in my head? Yeah, it just started going off. So Draymond Green says there's a lot of times where like he'll like start getting psyched and trying to get like the young guys to go crazy and to play like to start playing with energy, and they just won't react. And he's like, I can't be the only one fucking doing this. And yeah, there's no one out there. Also, where's Ryan Rollins and Pat Baldwin?
I feel better about Pat Baldwin than Ryan Rollins, but
I know, but where is Pat Baldwin? Seriously,
he got some playing time at the end of the year.
He played against the Kings for 3 minutes, and yeah, I mean, he shot 38% from 3 this year.
I like long term. I do like him.
I do like long term. Baldwin was a good pick, but what about Anthony Lamb? Why aren't they playing Anthony Lamb?
Because he sucks. And I tried to, or he doesn't suck. I tried to tell Warriors fans this all season, but like Anthony Lamb's not a guy you want valuable playing time, and when you're trying to win another championship.
I know, and also he's played terrible in the 2 games that he's played against the Lakers. But
can we get on Embiid here? Embiid might be the only one in NBA history. I just have fun facts. So last year, actually, Nikola Jokic won the MVP and didn't get past the first round. 2 years ago, they did the same thing and they got swept by the Phoenix Suns. So
feel good about yourself?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
I love you,
never made
Embiid,
it to a
but,
conference final.
Yeah, Embiid has never made it to a conference finals.
I don't even know the last time they got out of the second round.
All right, you guys got any closing?
72.
Something. No.
I'm just kidding.
Allen Iverson, I think, was the last time.
I'm just kidding.
Any closing thoughts for the boys?
Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. Lakers in 6.
Tonight.
All right, boys. Cheers. If you did enjoy, be a friend, tell a friend. And if you didn't, just forget it ever happened. Bye.